Welcome and Tashi Delek. This is the World Buddhist Scout Council session on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and looking at the factor that young people can explore spirituality through them. My name is Dr. Tony Malone and my Buddhist name is Rinpoche Tenzin La. I'm the Secretary General of the World Buddhist Scout Council, and as well as that I do various other things around diversity and inclusion in scouting too. I'd like us to start by looking at this image. This is the famous blue marble image, and it represents not just a wonderful photograph of the Earth from space, but it represents all of human history, all of human effort, everything we're aware of and what we call our world, our universe. It all exists on this small pale blue dot in the infinite. Our world is in danger. We've seen over the last recent years wildfires, pandemics, global warming on a new scale. We've seen disasters, both natural and man-made, and we've seen conflict arise from this due to reduced inequality. Looking specifically at poverty, it's on the increase around the world. People's lives are becoming poorer. People are struggling for food, people are struggling to heat, and given the new rise of conflict in the world we live in, this is set to continue for a while. We need to change. We need to do something about it. Thankfully, the United Nations has come together for a plan.
I was refugee in Pakistan, I was refugee in Iran, I was refugee in Dubai, and now I'm a refugee in France.
Les gens, quand tu es handicapé, ils n'essaient même pas de voir ce que tu es capable de faire, mais ils te jugent à travers ton handicap.
Haberme vendido no fue una buena idea.
यहाँ की लड़कियां कुछ नहीं कर सकती।
लाइट रही उजियार रही हमरो बाल बचा उजियार रही
Agama mifumidam beni sapnami bem mashkalnami kharta.
Porque se todo mundo tivesse alimento em casa, ela podia raciocinar. Então, poderia ser pobre, mas teria a inteligência na cabeça para poder sair dali.
Parce que na mukili mutu azwa na mission na o nzamba tindelai. Ngape na za mukili po na mission na ngai me nzambe ndayebi.
I've left my husband to be with a woman, and for me that's a huge step in my country as an African woman to do that. I do have a strong voice and I'm strong as a woman speaking for myself.
Nous devons dire au monde que nous existons, que vous êtes là. Et je suis sûr qu'aucune misère, aucune pauvreté extrême n'est pas une fatalité. On peut la combattre.
Mba afaka ihany fa mba tsy hitovy amin'le hoe toerana nisy atsony zany fa mba lasa ambonimbony kokoa zany izy. Dia tamin'ity moa ny reniny dia famihina teo zany any Termiana.
This is the global plan, also known as the global goals. These are the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They're our best hope for ensuring that there is a future for humanity. These goals consist of reducing poverty, having zero hunger, improving good health and well-being, ensuring quality of education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, and peace, justice and strong institutions, as well as partnerships on how these goals can be achieved. They are, in short, the best plan that we have to ensure a future for the human race. There's a lot of information in these, and each of these are divided into sub-goals as well, and that's quite overwhelming. I do encourage you to check out some websites such as theglobalgoals.com and various others to find out more about what's happening around SDGs. But most importantly, check out Scouts for SDGs, because that's where you can see what the 57 million young people across the world are pulling together to achieve within this. And we'll be talking a bit more about that later in this broadcast. We're going to look at the SDGs as a pyramid, and when I say SDGs, I mean the Sustainable Development Goals. I'm just using that as a shortened term. And we're going to break these into the spiritual, the ecological, and the people. And those three themes connect in Scouting as much as they do in the outside world. When we're doing things, we're thinking with our spiritual minds. What's ethical? What's the compassionate thing to do? What's the right thing to do? We're thinking ecological. How does we apply this to the planet? And we're thinking of people. How do we lift people up? How do we make happiness suitable for all? And how do we hear the voices of those whose voices are often lost? The SDGs are a really good path to doing this. And in Scouting, when we think of the spiritual, the ecological and people, we're thinking of good Scouting. When we look at faith leaders from around the world, we have the Pope, we have the Dalai Lama, we have various others who are all supportive of the work we're doing. Our young people across all faiths represent the best humanity have to offer. They represent the most diverse and inclusive ways of working. And hopefully we're going to talk about some projects now which celebrate those. But the important thing here is our faith is what unites us. Scouts of faith across the world, all 57 million young people we have and leaders, they have faiths which are different. They have faiths which are complementary or even in conflict. But they come together in Scouting. All of the young people come together to learn about other faiths, other ways we can do. And when we're talking about the Sustainable Development Goals, we can bring that conversation to that too. The World Buddhist Scout Council, we see it as part of the Interreligious Forum. We talk to Scouts at local, national and international level. And our aim is to achieve compassion. Compassion is one of the wonderful filters we can use for the SDGs. We can see them in a way which is relevant to what we do. And in Scouting, compassion is something that young people excel at. They're the best, literally the best in the world, at talking and being living embodiments of what the right thing to do is. That's what Scouting's about. And I'm going to introduce you to a few projects from around the world which look at using compassion in this way, and using faith in a different way that helps meet the SDGs and helps move things forwards. The first project is about working with the Dalai Lama Peace Center in Canada. It's a well-being project, and it's Buddhist-centered, but not taught by Buddhists necessarily. It's being taught in Scouts, guides, and then the young people took it into their schools. It's initiated by Buddhists, but again, it's not run by Buddhists. It's been taken on, it's given its new life, and that's wonderful. The results from this project have showed an 82% increase in child happiness. And this project was aimed to meeting some of the SDGs, but not necessarily that's what it's about. This project was about compassion. This project was about how we make sure young people are emotionally resilient and how they can move forwards with their lives in a happier way. The key takeaway is this is a project which outgrew Scouts and outgrew guides, and it went into schools and the local community. What a wonderful way for Scouting to change the world. And what a wonderful way of using the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha left us with the Eightfold Path. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And what a great way to start introducing young people to those concepts around SDGs, using the faith teachings from the Dharma and taking them into the SDG context. But we're not the only faith to be doing this. Let's explore something from Christianity. In Scouting Island, we have Catholic Scouts Against Ocean Damage, a wonderful project which directly took the values of Christianity and took them into SDG planning and SDG assignments and SDG projects. It used the teachings in the Bible in a brand new way, and although it was Christian-centered, wasn't delivered by Christians. The results showed an 89% of engagement of local youth from outside Scouting. Sorry, a 98%, I read that wrong. And that's fantastic. That's a great way to get young people from outside Scouting not only interested in their local community and interconnected world that they live in, but in Scouting as well. And Scouts across the world, via Scouts for SDGs, are making a huge difference to meeting the global goals. From the World Wildlife Badge, Scouts Go Solar, and Plastic Tide Turners, 57 million young people working together make a huge difference.
In 2015, humanity came together with a call to action for a better world by 2030. They agreed on 17 Sustainable Development Goals to end poverty, improve health and education, reduce inequalities, and tackle climate change. It's going to take the entire world to make these goals a reality. And who better to lead the charge than 50 million Scouts? You may know us as the ones who give a helping hand to the elderly, keep forests clean, run donation drives, or who are generally just good, active citizens. And have you heard of the Scouts welcoming refugees in Turkey? Or leading peace talks in Colombia? Or the ones giving thousands of students access to clean water in South Sudan? We've already completed over 1 billion hours of community service for the SDGs. Whether it's something really big or really small, we can all do something to make these goals a reality. By taking millions of local actions in almost every community, we're making the world's largest youth contribution to the SDGs. We're just trying to make this world a little better every day. We're Scouts for SDGs.
And here I was going to leave you with a quote by the 14th Dalai Lama. Young people have the opportunity and responsibility to shape the future by creating a better world. But instead, I'm going to introduce the Dalai Lama to share his thoughts with you directly.
I'm happy having this opportunity to communicate with millions and millions of young people through modern technology. Firstly, I always stress we belong to the 20th century, now ready to say goodbye. Now you, the real human generation who really make new shape of this planet. And you're going to observe rest of this century. So you are a very important generation. Now, as a natural, the world always changing. And also as a human society, and also population over 6 billion. And already there are some signs of limitation of nature resources. And also global warming. So because of these factors, our life this century will not be a century without problem, or a lot of problem bound to face, bound to happen. However, most of these problems essentially our own creation. Therefore, logically, we also have the ability to minimize this problem, or some cases to overcome this problem. Therefore, now our young brothers, sisters, as a youth, please think more about global level, because our individual interests ultimately depend on the global sort of situation. Therefore, please, while you are getting daily, happy days, happy life, you also, because you see, you have to lead rest of your life within this century, so you have to think from time to time about global issue. And for that, please make good preparation. One, education, skill or expertise. Then another thing, your determination, your willpower. That's much based on self-confidence. So in order to develop self-confidence, truth, honest, truthful, honesty, justful, these are key things, and transparent, these are key points. So please keep in your mind education, knowledge, meantime, warm-heartedness and willpower, determination, self-confidence, honesty, more compassionate. These are, I think, sources of our strength. So combine our knowledge and inner strength, then no matter what obstacles, what the difficulties, we can overcome these problems. That's my wish.
Thank you for coming along to this broadcast today for the World Buddhist Scout Council. And I'll leave you with my recollections for this, which is, we must work together across all our beliefs and teachings to bring peace by direct action. Now is our chance. Thank you once again, and thank you for World Scouting, the United Nations, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama for their contributions to this session. Tashi Delek, and farewell.